Thank you for staying with us. The political permutations ahead of the 2027 Ogun State governorship election continue to gather momentum. The development has now generated conversations about political strategy, gender inclusion, party unity, youth participation, and the implications for the APC's electoral prospects in Ogun State. Joining me to discuss the significance of this choice, what it means for the APC's campaign, and how young people are positioning themselves ahead of 2027 is Olamide Lawal, National President of the APC Youth League and Special Advisor to the Ogun State Governor on Youth Development. Mr. Lawal, thank you very much for joining me on Politics Live. Glad we were able to have this conversation. It was supposed to happen yesterday. Thank you for the patience.
God's time is always the best.
Thank you. So what are young APC members in Ogun State saying privately now about the Yayi, Kudirat, Adegunwa-Balogun tickets? What are they saying?
Well, it is just a perfect combo.
Perfect combination.
Yeah, for Ogun people, because you have a Yayi who has a deep experience in grassroots politics, in legislature, and also has been in this game for a very long time, and also understood the whole terrain of Ogun State very well. And now joining with someone coming from with over 3 decades of experience from private sector, a computer scientist, and an entrepreneur by excellence. Joining such person gives you an insight to what the future holds for Ogun State. And I can assure you that Ogun State people are very happy because it is gender balance, and they are also very youthful.
It's gender balance for the PDP as well, and Ladi Adebutu would never give up on his ambition. How much of a threat is he this time?
That is why it is a contest, but I can tell you that Ladi Adebutu is not a threat to us as APC in Ogun State, because the name of Yayi actually is on the lips of every citizen of Ogun State today. Based on the performance that in the last 3 years as a senator from Ogun West, no senator has actually achieved what he has been able to achieve in the last 3 years. And as such, his performance has also extended to other senatorial districts. And let me also tell you that one of the advantages that we have on Ladi Adebutu is that Ladi Adebutu is from the same town with the current governor of Ogun State. So every citizen of Ogun State doesn't expect an Ikperu person to leave the office now and another Ikperu person to come.
So for Kudirat Adegunwa-Balogun, what is it about her? I mean, we know that governance requires political capital and not just, professional competence. So apart from being the daughter of one of Nigeria's most influential businessmen, what political strength does she bring to this ticket?
Well, thank you very much. Kudirat Balogun has actually been blessed. He has actually been playing corporate governance at the back door before, and I need to let you know that.
How, in what capacity?
She also finished. I'm coming. She has also gone through the Harvard School of Leadership, so she's prepared. Her husband is also a politician. Well, her husband was a 3-term member of Lagos State House of Assembly. Her father is also a politician. I want you to know that Chief Adegunwa was a one-time chairman of Ogun State PDP.
She's depending on those factors, and not necessarily because she can mobilize votes independently.
Definitely, she has actually, for her to be able to manage the human resources of her company, of her father's company for a very long time, gives you an insight of how he will be able to manage resources. And her father is a philanthropist, and most of the philanthropic gestures of her father are being fronted by her. So that has given her leverage on interaction with the people and also looking at what people actually need to move them to greater height, particularly on the economic empowerment. As a young person, as a person, what the youth we are looking at to ensure that we sell her to the public is the fact that he is coming from industrialized aspect.
Why do you need to sell her to the public or the youth if Governor Adegunwa-Balogun or the APC had done enough for the state?
Of course, there is no way that you not sell your candidates. Even up to now, we are selling the President Olamide to every young people. And our focus as a young person, I am the convener of the Yayi Youth Vanguard. We focus more on the people on the age of 18 to 25. and these are new catch of voters because they don't really have much knowledge about this person. We have a more knowledge about him. We definitely talk about him so that they can actually go and research more about the person. And I can tell you what they will find out will be very, very, very palatable to them. And the focus is on consolidating on what the current administration has actually done.
And talking about that was why I said ordinarily she should be sellable to young people, because the incumbents came into office promising opportunities for young people. I remember that 7 years ago, Governor Adegunwa-Balogun came into office promising opportunities for the youth. 7 years after, many Ogun State's youth still say they are unemployed, they are frustrated, they want to leave for other cities. So why should they believe APC deserves another term?
I don't know. I don't actually know where you get that statistic from, but I can assure you
the statistics?
The statistics that young people want to leave Ogun State. One of the key policies of Governor Adegunwa-Balogun is a pull factor. You know, we are neighbor to Lagos State, and we know that today, the best way to engage young people, create a job opportunity, is to industrialize. And today, if you check, Ogun State is the most industrialized state in this country. And there are a lot of factors involved. It is due to the fact that Governor Adegunwa-Balogun created an enabling environment for public-private partnerships to thrive, because that is in line with his vision. And most of the promises that he made have actually been achieved. And that is what we as APC are backing on. There is no way you can take the success of Governor Adegunwa-Balogun away from what the APC will sell to the electorate.
It wasn't about public-private partnership. It was about the young people.
And that's what I'm telling you.
You're not able to convince me with your answer. But let's talk about youth inclusion. Is there a gap between what government says when it comes to youth inclusion? Is there a gap between what government says about youth inclusion and what is really on the ground and what young people experience daily?
I must tell you that there are usually challenges, but majorly what we have actually achieved in Ogun State is you look around the government, the government's team, and I can tell you that we have over 50% of young people working around the governor. And that is the major youth inclusion that you have. Even the current APC primary that we have, many of the House of Assemblies are young people. And that is to tell you the kind of leader that we have in Ogun State who believes in young people.
What about young people who are not members of APC? What are they benefited from this government?
Of course, when we talk about benefit of young people, the youths are they are domiciled in every sector of government, in education, in agriculture, in technology, in commerce, and every policy of the government are centered around young people. In the area of agriculture, Ogun State government has actually created more jobs for young people in that aspect. Even in the other areas of I told you about industrialization. You said you were not convinced enough. And I want to let you know that best way to create jobs is when you are industrialized, when you start producing. And if you are going to Abeokuta, the corridor from Shagam to Abeokuta, if you look left and right, you see that the influx of new companies, those companies were not there 7 years ago. So that is part of the pull factor.
So you say as national president of APC Youth League, you're satisfied with the level of youth inclusion under Governor Abiodun?
Definitely, and on that, I want to make this appeal as the national president of APC Youth League that our youth structure as a party in general should be strengthened furthermore, because the youth as a whole are not well funded, particularly our youth, our national youth leader, our minister for youth development. They should both be supported so that they can actually achieve those ideas they are ventilating. It's not about money alone, but they should give them the maximum support.
When you say support, what do you mean?
Of course, support, fine. They should give them the resources.
They told you themselves that they don't give them. They told you themselves that they don't give them money. They don't support them. The national leadership of the APC does not support them.
There are some programs that they have initiated, but along the line you see that most of the programs have not seen the light of the day.
What are the programs?
Oh, well, if I begin to mention some of them, we plan the youth dialogue. You understand? We were not able to achieve that. We don't know what could have happened. Who do you blame?
Who or what do you blame for that? The national leadership of your party.
Of course, that's why they need to support young people.
It means the APC does not care about the young members of the party.
They care. If they don't care, they won't give opportunities for young people. I'm not saying they don't care, but I'm saying we are Oliver Twist. If you give us a platform, opportunities, give us more resources, give us more support, so that our ideas, we can actually see the light of the day.
What is the employment rate of young people in Ogun State? The unemployment rate of young people in Ogun State?
Statistically, I think it is about 35%.
And you're not embarrassed by that figure? As a special advisor to the governor on youth development, you're not embarrassed by that figure?
How do you mean embarrassed? You should know, you should look at it for what was the percentage before this government came on board.
What was the percentage before?
The percentage was around 55%.
Okay. We'll get to that in a moment. You know why I'm asking? Because, you know, youth make up more than 60% of the population in your state, yet there is no legal framework that guarantees consistent investment in their development. As of last September, there was a proposal for the establishment of Ogun State Youth Development Commission. Are you aware of that?
Go ahead.
You're not aware of that?
No,
and
go ahead.
I do not know what the State Assembly did with that bill, except you would have to tell me tonight. So how bad is it that, you know, like state like Lagos, Ekiti States and the likes, there is no Youth Development Commission law, leaving youths in Ogun States, their issues basically dependent on changing political priorities. So please address that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know where you got those information from, but I can tell you that recently the governor separated the Ministry of Youth from the Ministry of Sport Development. So if the government doesn't have that faith in the youth development, doesn't believe in enshrining the youth development, there won't be such ministry to make sure that it sees into the welfare and well-being of young people. And aside that, recently we heard, as we are onboarding that ministry, we've also established a new youth policy for the state.
What's the policy?
The policy centers on the well-being of the young people of our state.
Okay, so
and every mantra of government is centered on it, on infrastructure, social well-being.
When did that policy come up, and what's been the success rate?
We just initiated it. You understand, based on, since that there is a ministry coming on board, you know, most of the youth policies are centers on what the federal youth policies brings and domiciles. We look around it, and even when we were doing it, we brought the consultants on how the Lagos State have been able to achieve their own, and we complement it with the local knowledge of Ogun State. Then we are able to come up with a very formidable youth policy. And that has always been followed through.
Is that not too late? Because, I mean, anybody what you would
say,
never this
too late. Governance is continuum.
It's continuum.
Yeah, governance is continuum. That's why we said that when Yayi comes, it's going to consolidate on what the current administration has actually done. Okay. You understand? You know, you cannot have a perfect situation. But when there is an improvement from where you met something, then you deserve to get it.
I like that, and I'm very hopeful. I mean, I hope that Senator Yayi continues from where...
no, we are very confident on it.
Let's go back to youth unemployment, because when Benga Daniel was governor, it was around 28%. All right, it was around 28%. But let's take a break at this moment. When we return, we'll continue this conversation. This is Politics Tonight, everyone. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. The political permutations ahead of the 2027 Ogun State governorship election continues to gather momentum. Tonight, we're assessing APC's preparedness ahead of the governorship election in 2027. Speaking with me in the studio is Olamide, Lawal, National President, APC Youth League, also Special Advisor to Governor Adegunwa-Balogun on youth development. Comrade, thank you for staying with us on the program. Let's
Yeah,
quickly
thank you
wrap
very
up
much.
this conversation about youth unemployment because it's a very important conversation. When Benga Daniel was governor, youth unemployment was around 28%. When Ibukule Amosun was governor, it was around 35.9%. Today, with Governor Dr. Abiodun at the helm of affairs, youth unemployment stands at an estimated 37%. It means there's an increase. It wasn't 55% before, and it's not 35% now. It is 37%. What is responsible for that?
Well, there is a high rate of influx in Ogun State, and you need to look at Ogun State's perspective as a higher number of tertiary institutions. When most of these people come from outside the state to study in Ogun State, based on enabling environment, secure the environment that we have in Ogun State, they stay back. And that has contributed to the higher number of young people in our state. I believe you agree to that. And within the government cannot provide all the job. What the government can do, that is why I was talking about laying emphasis on industrialization. And that governor has actually been able to push that to a very greater extent by ensuring that through pull factors, through some incentives, many companies have been brought into Ogun State to provide job opportunities for our people. And with that, I believe that the unemployment rate that you have established, even within the government, we have employed over 10,000 young people, teachers, agriculture side, health personnel have been actually have been employed in the last 7 years. And many companies have spring up, and Ogun State also has a policy that as the industries are here, you need to employ certain number of indigenous people.
All right.
And so we have all that on board.
All right then.
So realistically, I must tell you that at least the government is doing its best to make sure that they provide jobs. As people are coming to, study in Ogun State, and they are staying back. If the state is not secure, if the state is not conducive, they won't stay back. So for that, we are having higher number of influx of young people. And as such, we are also preparing smooth ground for them, catering for them. Small and medium enterprise is also very key that the government is doing to support young people. And also, young people in the area of creativity are also being supported. Everybody cannot be employed. There are a lot of number of self-employed young people. Thank you. The missing link has been the platform opportunities that the government create for young. It's not about you bringing young people on board. It's about you bringing them on board, giving them all the necessary support that they need to actually allow them to ventilate their ideas.
Do you have these conversations with the national leadership of the party?
Well, I relate more with the national youth leader of our party.
Okay.
So when it comes to party affairs, and when it comes to governance, I'm also the PRO, I'm the publicity secretary of Forum of SA2 Governors in Nigeria. So we relate more with these people, and I can tell you that, yes, they are very capable, but they have limited resources in their disposal to actually achieve many of these things that they have actually outlined for young people.
But also, is the youth wing of the EPC doing enough to propagate the renewed hope agenda of the president?
Of course, we are doing our best. That takes me to last year, June 12th. We were the first, without the support of the national youth leader of our party, we won't be able to achieve that. In the street of Abuja, we had a democracy walk, amplifying what the president, confidently, what the president has done. Let me tell you, in the history of this country, there has not been any president that has tried as much as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There could be some little challenges in the area of security. It is not even where we were when the president came on board. And we appreciate the fact that he's attacking that insecurity head on, Look at it, the speed at which they are establishing state police. Now, we don't have state police before. We believe that with the establishment of state police, every state government will take charge of the security of their area. Every local government will take charge of the security of their area. And as youth advocates, what we do tell ourselves is that as young people, we have roles to play. When you see something, say something. Security is a collective effort. We should not leave it only in the hands of security agencies. We can assist them in gathering their intelligence, in ensuring that, yes, they achieve what is outlined for them to achieve, and we have a secured environment. And aside that, the president is doing well in the area of infrastructure. Look at the aviation sector. Look at every sector of government. The government is really doing its best, and we are proud of the president. And we are amplifying that. We are genuinely amplifying that. We have turned ourselves to advocate of renewed hope.
All right. Great place to leave this conversation, Mr. Lawal. But the crux of tonight's conversation is when will younger politicians get their chance in governance and politics? Thank you for coming all the way. Thank you for speaking with me on the program. Olamide Lawal, National President, APC Youth League, Special Advisor to Governor Dr. Abiodun on Youth Development. Thank you for your time. Please have a great evening. Thank you.
And you too.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG.